I woke to knocking at 3 a.m. My husband's best friend stood there, trembling. "Your husband told me to come to you," he whispered. "There's something you need to know about your sister." That night shattered everything I believed about my family. My name is Elena Martinez, and I'm a veterinary nurse in Portland. I thought I had the perfect marriage and a sister I could trust with my life. The unexpected guest. The rain hammered against our bedroom window when Jake rolled over and kissed my forehead. "Marcus needs a place to crash tonight," he said softly. His apartment flooded. I told him he could take the guest room. I rubbed my eyes and checked the clock. It was almost 11. "Of course," I mumbled. "He's always welcome here." Jake smiled and squeezed my hand. "You're the best, Elena." "I'll go let him in." I heard their voices downstairs, low and friendly. Marcus had been Jake's best friend since their college days at Oregon State. Over the 5 years Jake and I had been married, Marcus had become like family. He was kind, respectful, and always brought my favorite coffee when he visited. 20 minutes later, I padded downstairs in my robe to say hello. Marcus stood in our kitchen, his clothes damp from the rain, a tired smile on his face. "Hey, Elena. Sorry to intrude so late," he said. "Don't be silly. You're never an intrusion." I handed him a fresh towel. "Guest room's all yours. Clean sheets are already on the bed." "Thanks, I really appreciate it." Jake clapped him on the shoulder. "Get some rest, man. We'll grab breakfast in the morning." I showed Marcus to the guest room down the hall, made sure he had everything he needed, then returned to bed. Jake was already snoring softly beside me. I smiled and closed my eyes, thinking nothing of the night ahead. Sleep came easily. I dreamed of nothing in particular, just the usual random images that drift through a tired mind. Then came the knocking, soft at first. Tap, tap, tap. I opened my eyes, confused. The room was dark except for the blue glow of our alarm clock. 3:17 a.m. The knocking came again, more urgent this time. I slipped out of bed carefully, not wanting to wake Jake. My heart pounded as I crossed the room. Who knocks at 3 in the morning? I opened the door slowly. Marcus stood in the hallway, still fully dressed. His face was pale, almost gray. His hands trembled at his sides. "Marcus, what's wrong?" I whispered. He looked past me at Jake's sleeping form, then back at me. "I need to talk to you," he said, his voice shaking. "Alone, please." My stomach twisted. "Is everything okay?" "No." His eyes were wet. "Elena, I'm so sorry. I should have told you sooner, but I didn't know how. Your husband told me to come to you if I ever found the courage." "What are you talking about?" "There's something you need to know about your sister." The world seemed to tilt. The warning in the dark, I pulled on my robe and followed Marcus downstairs, my legs weak beneath me. We sat at the kitchen table, the only light coming from the small lamp over the stove. "I'm sorry for waking you like this," Marcus began, rubbing his face with both hands. "I've been carrying this for months. I couldn't sleep knowing you were in the dark." "What about Claire?" My voice came out steadier than I felt. He looked at me with such sadness. "I overheard Jake and Claire talking last week. I was at Jake's office dropping off some paperwork and they didn't know I was there." I laughed, but it sounded hollow even to my ears. "Claire would never do anything to hurt me. We've always protected each other. Since we were kids." Marcus didn't laugh. He didn't even smile. Instead, he pulled his phone from his pocket and set it on the table between us. "I wish that were true," he said quietly. "What's on your phone?" "Proof. I've been gathering it because I knew you wouldn't believe me otherwise." He pushed the phone toward me. "I'm sorry, Elena. I'm so sorry." My hands shook as I picked up the phone. The screen showed a photo. It took my brain a moment to process what I was seeing. Jake and Claire, together, at a restaurant I'd never been to. They weren't just sitting together. Jake's hand covered Claire's on the table. They were leaning close, smiling at each other the way lovers do. "When was this taken?" I whispered. 2 months ago. Keep scrolling." I did. More photos. Jake and Claire leaving a hotel. Claire getting into Jake's car. Jake kissing Claire's cheek outside a coffee shop. My stomach turned to ice. "There's more," Marcus said gently. "Screenshots. From Jake's phone. I took them last month when he left it unlocked at the bar." I swiped to the next image. Text messages. Between Jake and a contact saved as C. I can't stop thinking about last night. Jake. "Me neither. When can I see you again?" C. Tuesday? Elena works late on Tuesdays. Jake. Perfect. Your place or mine? C. Mine. Elena will never suspect us. She trusts me too much. I dropped the phone like it burned me. That's Claire's number, Marcus said softly. I checked. I couldn't breathe. The kitchen walls seemed to close in around me. This couldn't be real. Not Claire, not my sister, not the person I'd shared everything with since childhood. But deep down, somewhere I didn't want to look, a small voice whispered, "You always knew she was capable of this." Evidence I couldn't deny, I stared at the phone on the table like it was a snake ready to strike. My hands trembled so badly I had to fold them in my lap. How long have you known? I finally asked. Marcus sighed heavily. I started noticing things about 3 months ago. Jake would get secretive phone calls. He'd make excuses to leave work early. One day I saw Claire's car parked outside his office building when you thought she was in Seattle for work. And you didn't tell me. I tried once. His voice cracked. Remember that barbecue in July? I pulled you aside and started to say something, but then Jake and Claire came out together, laughing. You looked so happy. I chickened out. I did remember. Marcus had seemed nervous that day. I thought he was stressed about work. I needed proof first, he continued. I knew you'd never believe me without it, so I started paying attention, taking photos, screenshotting messages when I could. I picked up the phone again, forcing myself to look. There were dozens of photos. Jake and Claire at restaurants, walking together in the park, standing too close outside movie theaters. Then I found the text messages. Months of them. See, I love when you touch me like that, Jake. You're so much more passionate than she ever was. See, do you think you'll leave her? Jake. Eventually, we just need to be patient. My vision blurred. I couldn't tell if I was going to cry or throw up. There's one more thing, Marcus said quietly. He took the phone and scrolled to a different folder. This is from last week. It was a video, just 10 seconds long. Claire and Jake in a parking garage, pressed against a car, kissing like the world was ending. I watched it 3 times, each viewing confirming what my heart already knew. My husband and my sister had been having an affair right under my nose. How could I not see it? I whispered. They were careful. They knew how much you trusted them both. I thought about all the times Claire had come over when Jake was home, all the family dinners where they'd sat across from each other, making normal conversation, all the nights Jake had worked late, or said he was working late. That text, I said, my voice breaking. Elena will never suspect us. She wrote that about me. Marcus reached across the table but didn't touch me. I'm sorry. I know this destroys everything. He was right. In the span of 15 minutes, my entire world had collapsed. My marriage was a lie. My sister was a traitor, and I'd been too blind to see either truth. I stood up suddenly, the chair scraping against the floor. I need to be alone. Elena, please. I held up my hand. Thank you for telling me, but I need to think. I walked to the living room and sat in the dark, Marcus's phone still clutched in my hand. Upstairs, my husband slept peacefully, dreaming whatever dreams cheaters dream, and somewhere across town, my sister probably slept just as soundly. Neither of them knew their secret was out, but they would. Soon, secrets buried in childhood. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. Instead, I sat in the dark living room, my mind spinning through every memory, every interaction, searching for signs I'd missed. When dawn finally broke through our windows, I heard Marcus leave quietly. Jake came downstairs an hour later, freshly showered and smiling. Morning, babe. He kissed the top of my head. Marcus already left? Yeah, I kept my voice steady. Early meeting. Cool. Want me to make breakfast? I'm not hungry. I think I'm coming down with something. His face showed concern. Fake concern now that I knew the truth. You should call in sick. Rest up. I think I will. After Jake left for work, I went straight to the attic. We kept boxes of old photos and childhood memories up there, things I hadn't looked at in years. I found what I was looking for in the 3rd box, my old diaries. I'd kept journals throughout high school and college, documenting everything with the earnestness only teenage girls possess. I flipped through the pages, and the patterns jumped out immediately. Age 15. Claire is mad because mom and dad let me go to the concert, but not her. She said I always get everything I want. She borrowed my favorite sweater without asking and returned it with a stain. Age 16. Found out Claire has been texting my boyfriend Danny. She says they're just friends, but I saw the messages. They're flirting. I confronted her and she cried, saying I was being paranoid. Mom took her side. Age 17. Danny broke up with me. 2 weeks later, Claire told me she and Danny are dating now. She said it just happened and she's sorry, but she really likes him. Mom says I should be happy for my sister. I'd forgotten about Danny, or maybe I'd buried it. Claire had dated him for 6 months before dumping him for someone else. By then I'd moved on, convinced myself it didn't matter. But it did matter. It was the first time Claire had taken something precious from me. I kept reading. Age 18, got accepted to Oregon State with a partial scholarship. Claire didn't get in anywhere yet, and she's being really mean about it. She told me I'm not actually smart, just good at taking tests. Dad defended me, and she screamed at him. Age 19, Claire got accepted to Portland State. She seems happy now. But she made a weird comment at dinner about how I stole Dad's attention my whole life. I don't understand. Dad loves us both. Age 22, Dad died today, heart attack. Claire barely cried at the funeral. She kept saying he always liked me better. I tried to hug her, but she pushed me away. I closed the diary, my hands shaking. How had I forgotten all of this? How had I convinced myself that Claire and I were close? Mom's voice echoed in my memory. Claire's just competitive. She doesn't mean anything by it. You two will always be sisters. But competitive people don't sleep with their sister's husband. That wasn't competition. That was cruelty. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through photos of Claire and me together. Every smile suddenly looked fake. Every hug seemed forced. The pattern had always been there. Claire wanted what I had, and when she couldn't have it, she took it anyway. The confrontation plan. I called the veterinary clinic where I worked and told them I had the flu. My boss, Dr. Sarah, was understanding. Take the rest of the week if you need it, Elena. We'll manage. I spent the morning pacing our house, Marcus's evidence burning in my mind. Every room held memories that now felt tainted. The couch where Jake and I had watched movies. The kitchen where Claire and I had cooked Christmas dinner last year. All of it was poisoned. Around noon, my phone buzzed. Marcus, are you okay? I'm worried about you. Me. Can you come over? Jake's at work. Marcus, be there in 20. When Marcus arrived, I'd made coffee neither of us would drink. We sat at the kitchen table again, the scene of last night's revelation. I can't just confront them, I said. Not yet. They'll deny everything, make me look crazy. Marcus nodded. What do you want to do? I need more proof. Something undeniable. Your photos and screenshots are good, but they could claim those messages were taken out of context or something. What kind of proof? I took a deep breath. I need to catch them in the act. Marcus's eyes widened. Elena, are you sure? That might be more than you want to see. I need to see it. Otherwise, part of me will always wonder if maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's an explanation. I laughed bitterly. I know that's stupid, but it's not stupid. It's human. We spent the next 2 hours planning. Marcus knew more about technology than I did, so he explained how we could set up hidden cameras. We can get small wireless cameras online, he said, pulling up a website on his phone. They look like phone chargers or alarm clocks. They connect to an app on your phone so you can watch the feed remotely. That feels so wrong, I whispered. So is cheating on your wife with her sister, Marcus said firmly. You're not doing anything wrong, like Elena. You're protecting yourself. He was right. I ordered 3 cameras, one disguised as a phone charger, one as a digital clock, and one as a smoke detector. Express shipping meant they'd arrive tomorrow. Where should we put them? I asked. Marcus thought for a moment. Bedroom, obviously. Living room, too. Maybe the kitchen. My stomach turned at the thought of cameras in my bedroom, but I nodded. Jake mentioned this morning that he has late meetings the next 3 nights. That's probably when she'll come over. Do you know if Claire has a key to your house? I closed my eyes. Yeah, I gave her one 2 years ago in case of emergencies. Of course you did. Marcus's voice was gentle. Because you're a good sister. You trusted her. I was an idiot. No. He grabbed my hand. You loved her. That's not the same thing. I wanted to believe him. But sitting there, planning to spy on my own husband and sister, I felt like the biggest fool in the world. Still, I had to know. I had to see. Only then could I plan my revenge. Caught on camera, the cameras arrived the next afternoon. Marcus came over to help me install them while Jake was at work. My hands shook so badly that Marcus had to set up the bedroom camera himself. "It just sits on the nightstand," he explained, positioning the fake phone charger. "The camera lens is here, tiny as a pinhead. It'll capture everything." I felt sick looking at it. We put the clock camera on the living room bookshelf and the smoke detector in the kitchen. Marcus showed me how to access the app on my phone. "See, you can watch all 3 feeds from anywhere. It records continuously and saves to the cloud." What if they notice them? They won't. They look completely normal. And people in the middle of an affair aren't paying attention to phone chargers. That evening, Jake came home and didn't notice anything different. We ate dinner together like normal. He told me about his day at the insurance firm where he worked. He kissed me goodnight. I lay awake next to him, watching him sleep, wondering how long he'd been lying to me. The next morning, Jake reminded me he'd be working late. "Big client meeting, probably won't be home until 9 or 10. "Okay," I said simply. At noon, I texted Claire. "Hey sis, want to grab lunch this week?" Claire: "Can't this week, super swamped with work. Maybe next week?" "No problem, love you." Claire: "Love you too." I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I called Marcus. "I'm coming over. I can't be in this house waiting." We sat in Marcus's apartment, my phone on the coffee table between us, both of us staring at it like a bomb waiting to explode. At 6:30 p.m., my phone buzzed with a motion alert from the living room camera. I opened the app with trembling hands. Claire walked into my house using her key. She was wearing a red dress I'd never seen before. She looked around, then texted someone. 5 minutes later, Jake arrived. "Oh God," I whispered. Marcus squeezed my shoulder. "You can stop watching if you want." But I couldn't look away. On the tiny phone screen, I watched my husband kiss my sister in my living room. I watched Claire laugh at something he said. I watched them pour wine from the bottle Jake and I had been saving for our anniversary. Then they went upstairs. "Elena," Marcus started. "I need to see." I switched to the bedroom camera feed. What happened next destroyed me. I watched them in my bed, on my sheets, in the room where Jake and I had built our life together. I watched Claire touch my husband. I watched my husband touch her back. I recorded it all, tears streaming down my face, my heart shattering into pieces so small I didn't know if they could ever be put back together. They stayed for 2 hours. Afterward, they lay together talking, laughing, planning. "She has no idea," Claire said clearly. "My sister is so trusting. It's actually sad." Jake chuckled. "Makes it easier for us." "When are you going to leave her?" "Soon. I promise. I just need to figure out the finances first." I stopped recording and set down my phone. Marcus was crying too. "Elena, I'm so sorry." "Don't be." My voice sounded dead even to my ears. Now I know exactly what I'm dealing with. I had all the evidence I needed. Now I just needed a plan. Family ties unraveling. I waited 2 days before visiting my mother. I needed to calm down first, to think clearly. But the video played in my mind on a constant loop. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together. Mom lived in a small house in Northeast Portland, the same house Claire and I had grown up in. I knocked on the door Saturday morning, unannounced. "Elena, what a nice surprise." Mom hugged me, then pulled back to study my face. "You look tired, honey. Are you okay? Can we talk? It's important." We sat in her kitchen, the same yellow table where Claire and I had eaten breakfast before school for years. Mom poured coffee and waited. "I found out something terrible," I began. My voice shook despite my efforts to stay calm. "About Claire and Jake." Mom's face changed. Just for a second, something flickered in her eyes. Knowledge. She already knew something. "What about them?" she asked carefully. "They're having an affair. I have proof. Videos, texts, photos. They've been sleeping together for months." I expected shock, anger, disbelief. Instead, Mom sighed deeply and set down her coffee cup. "I was afraid of this," she said quietly. My blood went cold. "What do you mean you were afraid of this?" "Elena, I love both my daughters." "But I'm not blind to who Claire is." Mom's eyes filled with tears. "She's always been jealous of you, since you were children." "You knew?" "Not about the affair. But I knew Claire had issues with you. Resentment, competition. I tried to address it when you were younger, but your father—" She trailed off. "What about Dad?" Mom twisted her hands together. "Your father loved you both, but you were special to him. You looked like his mother. You had his sense of humor. Claire saw it. She was so angry about it." "That wasn't my fault!" "I know that, but Claire didn't see it that way. After your father died, her resentment got worse. She started saying terrible things about you when you weren't around. She said you'd stolen our parents' love, that everything came easy to you because you were the favorite." I felt like I'd been punched. "And you never told me?" "I thought it would pass. I thought if I just kept encouraging her, supporting her, she'd move past it." Mom wiped her eyes. "I see now that I was wrong. I enabled her worst impulses instead of correcting them. She's sleeping with my husband, Mom, in my bed, planning to steal my whole life. I know. And I'm so, so sorry." Mom reached across the table, but I pulled away. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet, but I'm not going to just let this go." "Elena, be careful. When Claire feels threatened, she gets vicious. She should have thought about that before she betrayed me." I left Mom's house feeling worse than when I'd arrived. The betrayal wasn't just Jake and Claire anymore. It was my whole family. Mom had known Claire was toxic and had done nothing to protect me. I'd spent my entire life trying to be a good daughter, a good sister, a good wife. And where had it gotten me? Alone, betrayed, with a family that had failed me at every turn. But I wasn't going to be the victim anymore. It was time to fight back. The revenge blueprint. Marcus helped me find a lawyer. Her name was Patricia Chen, and she specialized in divorce cases involving infidelity. "This is some of the best evidence I've ever seen," Patricia said, reviewing the videos and texts on her tablet. "With this, we can get you everything." "Everything?" I asked. "The house is in both your names, correct? And you've been married 5 years?" "Yes." "Oregon is an equitable distribution state. With proof of adultery this clear, the court will favor you heavily. You'll get the house, at least 60% of joint savings, and likely a portion of his pension and future earnings." I nodded, but money wasn't what I wanted most. "What about Claire?" I asked. Patricia looked up. "Your sister?" "She works at Hillside Marketing. Jake helped her get the job. He handles their insurance accounts. She's up for a promotion to senior director. Is there anything we can do about that?" Patricia leaned back in her chair. "That's trickier. But if her affair with Jake created any conflicts of interest at work, or if company policy prohibits relationships that compromise professional ethics, so if I sent the videos to her boss?" "I can't advise you to do that." Patricia smiled slightly. "But I also can't stop you from exercising your free speech rights." I liked Patricia. Over the next week, Marcus and I built the revenge plan piece by piece. It felt good to focus on action instead of pain. "Jake's company has a morality clause in their employment contracts," Marcus discovered, reading through documents Jake had left lying around. "If his affair becomes public, especially with proof this clear, they could fire him." "What about Claire's company?" "I have a friend who works there. Let me make some calls." 2 days later, Marcus reported back. "Claire's promotion is supposed to be announced next month, but it requires board approval. The CEO is very conservative, very concerned about company image." So if they found out Claire was sleeping with a married man, a client, it would kill her promotion, maybe her job. I should have felt guilty. These were career-destroying moves, life-altering consequences. But every time doubt crept in, I remembered the video. I remembered Claire's words. "My sister is so trusting. It's actually sad." She'd laughed at me. They'd both laughed. "There's one more thing," I said to Marcus. "I want them to know I knew. I don't want to just divorce Jake and move on. I want a confrontation." "That's risky." "I don't care. They humiliated me. I want them to feel it too." Marcus thought for a moment. "What about a dinner party?" "What?" "Invite both families. Say you're celebrating something. They'll come expecting everything to be normal, and then I show everyone the truth." It was perfect. Public humiliation. The ultimate revenge for the ultimate betrayal. We set the date for 2 weeks out. That gave me time to prepare, to gather my strength, to make sure every piece was in place. Jake and Claire had no idea what was coming, but they would soon. The dinner party. Exposure. The invitation went out to both families, Jake's parents and brother, my mom and Claire, Marcus as Jake's best friend. The occasion was celebrating my promotion at work. A complete lie, but they didn't know that. Claire texted immediately. "So proud of you, sis. Can't wait to celebrate." I wanted to scream. Jake was thrilled. "This is great, babe. I'm glad you're finally getting recognized at work." The lies came so easily to both of them. I spent the day of the party cooking, cleaning, setting the table. I wore my favorite blue dress. I smiled. I acted normal. Marcus arrived early to help. "Are you sure about this?" he asked quietly while Jake was upstairs. "I've never been more sure of anything." Guests arrived at 6. Jake's parents brought wine. Claire brought flowers, hugging me tight and telling me how beautiful I looked. I hugged her back, memorizing the feeling of her arms around me. It would be the last time. We ate dinner, roasted chicken, garlic potatoes, Caesar salad. Everyone complimented the food. Jake and Claire sat across from each other, making normal small talk, their secret affair hidden beneath fake smiles. I watched them both, my heart ice cold. After dessert, I stood up and tapped my wine glass with a spoon. "Thank you all for coming tonight," I said. I know I said this was about my promotion, but that wasn't entirely true. I actually have something else to share with you, something I recently discovered. Jake looked confused. Claire's smile faltered slightly. I walked to the living room and returned with my laptop. "I've prepared a video. I think everyone should see it." "Elena." "What?" Jake started. I connected the laptop to our TV and pressed play. The bedroom footage filled the screen. HD quality, crystal clear. Jake and Claire together in my bed. The room erupted. Jake's mother gasped. His father swore loudly. My mom started crying. Jake jumped up, his face white. "Elena, wait." "Sit down," I said coldly. Claire tried to run. Marcus blocked the doorway. "You're going to watch this," I said. "All of it." I let it play for 2 full minutes. Long enough that no one could deny what they were seeing. Long enough that every person in that room understood exactly what had been happening. Then I turned off the TV and faced them all. My husband and my sister have been having an affair for at least 6 months, probably longer. They've been meeting in my house, in my bed, using the trust I gave them to destroy my life. "Elena, please." Claire's face was streaked with tears. "Don't." I held up my hand. "You don't get to cry. You did this." Jake tried to speak, but his father cut him off. "Shut up, Jacob. You've said enough by your actions." I turned to my mom. "You were right. Claire is vicious when threatened, but I'm more vicious when betrayed." Then I addressed everyone. "I'm filing for divorce. I have a lawyer. I have evidence. Jake will get nothing." I looked at Claire. "And you're fired. I sent these videos to your CEO yesterday. Turns out sleeping with married clients violates company policy. Your promotion is gone. Your job is gone. Your reputation is gone." Claire's face went from white to red. "You vindictive bitch!" "No, I'm a woman who fought back." "There's a difference." Jake tried to approach me. "We can work this out. Get out of my house. Both of you. Now." "Elena." "Now!" Marcus opened the door. Claire fled first, sobbing. Jake grabbed his keys, his face a mask of shock and anger. "You'll regret this," he spat. "No," I said calmly. "You will." After they left, the room was silent except for my mom's quiet crying. Jake's parents approached me. "We're so sorry," his mother said. "We had no idea." "I know. Thank you for coming." They left quietly, taking Jake's brother with them. Finally, only Mom, Marcus, and I remained, rising from the ashes. Jake moved out that night, staying at a hotel since he couldn't go to Claire's. Patricia had already filed the divorce papers. His company fired him 3 days later when the video went public. Somehow it had leaked online, though I had no idea how. Claire lost her job and her promotion, exactly as planned. She tried calling me 17 times. I blocked her number. Mom visited a week later. We sat in my living room, the same room where so much had happened. "I'm sorry I failed you," Mom said. "I should have protected you from Claire. I should have seen what she was capable of." "You should have," I agreed. "But that doesn't change what she did. That was her choice." "Are you going to forgive her?" "No, forgiveness isn't free, Mom. She destroyed my marriage, betrayed my trust, and laughed about it. She can live with those consequences." "What about me?" I looked at my mother, this woman who had enabled Claire's cruelty for years. "I need space from you too. Maybe someday we can rebuild our relationship, but not now. Mom nodded, tears falling. I understand. The divorce moved quickly with all my evidence. Patricia was brilliant. By February, I owned the house outright, had 65% of our joint savings, and was entitled to a portion of Jake's future pension. Jake tried contesting it at first, but his lawyer took one look at the evidence and advised him to settle. He signed the papers in March. I never saw Claire again. Marcus became my constant support through everything. He helped me repaint the bedroom, replace the furniture, make the house feel like mine again. Somewhere in the process of healing, our friendship shifted into something deeper. 6 months after the dinner party, Marcus and I had our first real date. Nothing dramatic, just dinner and a movie. But it felt right. Are you sure about this? He asked as we sat in his car afterward. I don't want you to think I had ulterior motives for telling you about Jake and Claire. I don't think that. You saved me, Marcus. You gave me the truth when everyone else was lying. He kissed me gently. You saved yourself, Elena. I just helped you see clearly. By fall, Marcus had moved in. Not because we were rushing, but because being together felt natural. He filled the house with laughter again. He cooked breakfast on Sundays. He loved me in all the ways Jake had pretended to. I returned to work stronger than before. Dr. Sarah promoted me to senior veterinary nurse. I made new friends, joined a book club, started painting again, something I'd abandoned years ago. One evening, as Marcus and I sat on the porch watching the sunset, I thought about everything that had happened. Do you ever regret it? Marcus asked, reading my mind. The way you handled things? No, they wanted to humiliate me in secret. I just made sure everyone knew the truth. You could have handled it quietly. I could have, but then they would have gotten away with it. Claire would have kept her promotion. Jake would have gotten a fair divorce settlement. They would have moved on with barely any consequences. And now? Now they both know that betrayal has a price. Actions have consequences. You can't destroy someone's life and expect them to just accept it quietly. Marcus squeezed my hand. I'm proud of you. I smiled. For the first time in months, it felt genuine. I'd lost a husband, a sister, and partially a mother, but I'd gained something more valuable. My self-respect, my strength, my ability to fight back against people who tried to destroy me. The house was mine. My life was mine. My future was mine, and I would never again let anyone take what belonged to me. That night, standing in my home with Marcus beside me, I finally felt free from the family that had betrayed me. I'd learned the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes the people who should love you most are the ones who hurt you deepest. But I'd also learned that I was strong enough to survive it, and that was worth everything.